Well, good morning, folks, and welcome back to the farm. We've been gone for a week on holidays, and we come back here last night, and we're about ready to get on with our morning chores, as well as get a few projects done today. We've got to move some sheep around, so we've got to move some electric netting and stuff, and get all prepped for that big move tomorrow. The other thing that happened last week before we left, we had a mystery animal in our yard. It was tipping things over. We discovered it was actually the neighbor's 700-pound boar pig, and so he rearranged some furniture in the yard. Anyways, last night we come home, everything was in order, looked fantastic. This morning I look out, the green bin's tipped over, and the water bucket by the chickens is tipped over, the wheelbarrow's tipped over. It's like, I wonder if we don't have a repeat visitor. So let's go see if we can find them. So I'd say it's almost a guarantee. You can see the water bucket's tipped over here, and even the power cord for the chicken house got unplugged. The dogs typically wouldn't do that. There's some pretty big hoof prints through here, so definitely a big pig. Can't say for sure it was our neighbor's, but I mean, it's happened before. So we'll go check in the lambing shed. That's where he was last time, and then maybe we'll go find him. So we're just over here at the pig pen. This is the big blue bin that's full of grain, and well, it had about probably 250 pounds worth of grain in there, and it's tipped over again. Has next to nothing in it. Now, our pigs are secured in their pig pen over there. Quite happy. No way to get out. So let's go look in the lambing shelter here. Oh, there's definite evidence right there. Big pile of pig poop on the ground. So let's go see if we can find old Mr. Boris next door here. Ranger, is he in here? Holy man. That is one big pig sleeping off a grain coma. Man, oh man. Well, at least you know it's cozy in here, I guess. Looks kind of hungover. Ate too much barley, probably got a tummy ache now.
Move!
The pig's got to move?
No, he got move.
He's got to move, yeah. This is not at all what we had planned for today. We had planned to move actually our lambs that are going to go to market into this little paddock here. But I think we're going to hold off until we move this big fella back home. The neighbor will be home around noon. And then, and then we'll make our move. But we also have to move the cows today. They've been in the south pastures here for a couple of weeks. It's looking pretty tired. We did get some rain, so we'll move them over to the west side, and this can recover for a couple of weeks. So let's get on with that. So we're down here in the sheep pasture. You see the sheep are over there. There's also some sheep over here. Not supposed to be here. They're just small enough they can squeeze through the gate. We're gonna try and run them down this fence line and see if they can squeeze their little butts back in there. And then in the next day or two, we're sorting out who's going to market. We're going to be pretty merciless, and I will remember those names and numbers. And yeah, a sheep that habitually gets out is going to be a problem for years and years to come. And so down the road they go, 'cause ain't nobody got time for that. Come on. Supposed to be. Yep, I got your numbers. We got all the sheeps now in the corral, and they're not going to stay in here. This is just, I'm bringing them a grain treat, because tomorrow I think is when we're going to actually do the sorting. So bring them a grain treat, then they're a little bit more comfortable coming in here. And what I'm going to need to do is I need to bring another one of these security panels like this for this gate, one for that gate, and one for the end of the alleyway. Once they get them all into here, then we can kind of sort back and forth throughout the alleyway, who's going to stay, who's going for cull, and who's going for market. So now we're just doing the really simple task of moving the cows, and I say it's really simple because literally all I had to do was open the gate, and they will make their way just naturally out of this field and over into here. I'm going to put a salt lick over there, and really not going to have to provide much in the way of encouragement for them. And that's a good sign. It means we're moving them often enough. If they're standing there, lining up at the gate, putting pressure on the fence, things like that, then it means, it's time. It's probably time to move 2 days ago, kind of thing. But we've been pretty religious in moving them around, and as you can see, they're quite happy in the alleyway here. But by tomorrow, they'll have moved over to the northwest. I'll just come back, close the gate. All triple happy teddy bears. Well, I just got to grab some of these security panels to haul down to the corrals there. And if I were to be honest and say, like, what's the biggest thing I would change, money's no object kind of big change about where we are right now, it would be a management system for our animals, for like a handling system, right? Because we don't have one. Like, we have a set of old corrals that were, aside from the perimeter fencing, the old corrals were the only surface improvement there was here. This was really just a pasture. There was nothing here. And so then we immediately went out and got animals, and have struggled through this for years and years, not having a really good handling system. And we got these security panels from a lady off the buy and sell for like $100 or something. They've been an absolute godsend, but I mean, they work okay. They get you out of a pinch, but they don't work well. But year after year, we continue to use them because they still get us by. And we're just thinking about this today. Carmen was even saying, like, man, I wish we had a set that were, half as tall, because then they'd be half as heavy. We could move it around, still be mobile, because mobile is really important. We move our sheep in lots of different places. But you got these, 5 foot tall, 10 foot long security panels that are just an absolute nightmare to have to pick up and carry and move around. So there's my, if I had $1 million kind of idea, it would be a mobile sheep handling system that there wouldn't be so much labor, I guess, to use. Now that I'm down here in the corrals, I'm just doing a little late night fixing on the fence. I don't know if you're like me, but something breaks, you patch it. Then you probably patch it again until there's just no way you can patch it. Until finally you have to fix it at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, the day before you're due to use whatever it is that you've patched and patched and patched. And so I'm looking at this corral section here, and you can see, yes, that is what it looks like, is a tree trunk that is seat belted to some corral posts. So a few years back, we had a ram who was, well, he was nice at the auction when I bought him. And then that lasted about 2 weeks. And turned out he was full of piss and vinegar, and there was not a fence in the world that could hold him. And this corral system was built for like buffalo. Anyways, he had no time for that. And he would go through these big, thick, I think these are 2x8s. Yeah, 2x8s is what they are. And so there was even a few spots in the corner there where I put some pallets just to, because he was consistently hitting it. I'm like, eventually he's going to go through. And I thought the pallet actually worked really well because it cushioned the blow and it spread out the impact across the entirety of the board. But needless to say, he did get to a few spots here and blew that out. And the only thing I could find that actually he could hit and hit and hit that would take that hit was a full solid, like 8-inch, 10-inch, something like that, tree trunk was the only thing that would stop him. And anyways, eventually he got out of here. It just happened. He ended up breeding a bunch of ewes, and it is what it is, unfortunately. So it was like, okay, well, he's been in here for a couple of days. He's done what he's done. I guess, whatever. If we're going to be lambing in January or February, whatever time it was, we might as well just do everybody and not have to play guessing games as to who it's going to be. We'll just do everybody. So he stayed out in there. And every time I go in there, I'd have to have like a big stick or a hammer or a piece of chain or something, because like I was going to get bulldozed. And eventually he got me. And, well, you know what? I'm pretty determined that I'm going to have no living enemies. So in the freezer he went. But yeah, this is, I guess, long story short, this is the mess he made that now, I think it's like 2 years later, I'm finally coming back and cleaning up and fixing the patch properly. So how is it, you might wonder? Don't mind the truck noises in the background. That's just my neighbor that doesn't know that his truck has more than first gear. Anyways, how is it, you might wonder, that we're going to turn these old corrals into a temporary, if not mobile, portable / user-friendly sheep handling system? Well, yes, it all comes down to the security panels. This one's got to stay here because it blocks access to a gate that a sheep won't even see. And if they do see it, they'll find a way around it pretty darn quickly. So we're going to have another one of those panels right here for this gateway. I've already got one popped up right here. And I'm going to have one at the very end. So when I come by in the morning, this one at the end is going to be wide open. Everything else is going to be closed except for that one. So they're going to come down the alleyway, through. They're going to get a grain treat in there. That's really the incentive. Once they're in there, that security panel is going to be closed. This security panel is going to be closed. And then the rodeo shall begin, in that we're going to attempt to sort out the A-team, essentially, out of the large, or sorry, the small corral, and move them out into the large corral. This is the keepers. This is the heavy hitters. These are the ones we want to keep our future breeding stock. And these are the little piggies that are going to go to market. Call them the little piggies that are going to go to market because, well, all they do is eat grass that we really don't have. And we certainly can't afford to have them eating hay that we don't have over the course of winter, only to, you know, I guess have subpar offspring in the spring that, you know, we're in a drought year. It's exceptionally harsh this year. And I joked earlier about this, about, you know, the few lambs that get out, but they are on the B team, those ones, and their mother, actually, believe it or not, because she's smaller. She's a Shetland Dorset cross. So we originally had Shetland sheep. They were more, call them flavorful, but we found that the people that buy lamb around here don't like flavorful, because flavorful is easily translatable to gamey. And what we really wanted was, you know, some heavier, faster growing lambs that could be born mid to late spring and still reach butcher weight by November, so that we didn't have to feed them all winter long. Because if you're fattening lambs on hay and grain, I mean, you're just burning money essentially, right? If you can fatten them on pasture, that's fantastic. That's all money in the bank. Grass is pretty much free. Unfortunately, in a year like this year, grass is very, very hard to come by, as is the hay that we're going to feed this winter. So when I say we're going to be merciless, we're going to be merciless. And so some of the what I would consider to be some pretty good animals, pretty good, they're not the A-team, but they're pretty good, are unfortunately going to have to go down the road tomorrow. So that said, that's with the exception of two sheep in particular, Lottie and Duchess. So Lottie, she's just, you know, one of our firstborn lambs we had here on the farm. She's an absolutely adorable little ewe. She makes the cutest little lambs. They don't grow very big, but they are, like I said, they are the cutest. And so she's going to stay. And then Duchess is another one. She's on the smaller side. Actually, she's just walking up right here, actually. Say hello. Anyways, that was, she was born the same day that Charlotte, our daughter, was born. And so I made the commitment that every lamb that ewe had would be Charlotte's. So she's got to stick around. But as for Beatrice, Sharon, Juliet, I don't think they're going to make it. See, this is Lottie right here. She's coming up to say hi. See, she's just an absolute gem. She's a fan favorite. Lots of these little lambs. You can see a couple of them in the back. That's Lottie's. This is Duchess's lamb. Gorgeous little lambs, right? But they're nothing by comparison to these Suffolk Dorset crosses that, I mean, they'll be ready to finish end of October, right? So you just can't compare the carcass quality that these ones produce. Anyways, folks, it is now fully dark outside. And I just finished tying up all the security panels, which you're going to have to believe me that I've done it because, you know, you can't see. But it's been a day. And tomorrow is going to be a day to remember, because this might be a full-on rodeo, or this might be the success we've never had before. So anyways, you're going to want to tune in tomorrow. But for now, I think it's time for me to run up to the house and go fetch up a cup of tea. So I'll let you go for now. I hope you have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.